I'd like to call up to the stage Brenda Knights, who's the CEO of Seyem Qwantlen Business Group, and Peter Tulumello.
So thank you for inviting both Brenda and I to speak today with regard to the relationship that we share in the Township of Langley and with Qwantlen First Nation. This relationship has been developed over a long period of time. Those of you who are aware of BC's history, colonialism was declared in Fort Langley. This harkens to the relationship that we've built over all those years with Qwantlen First Nation in our community. We're working on specific projects. We've worked with a business group for probably 12 years now. We meet on a regular basis. The senior management team and the senior management team from Qwantlen First Nation, the Seyem Qwantlen Business Group, meet once monthly, and we talk about community. We talk about what's important to each community and how we are going to build those communities for future generations, and that resonates with both the Township and Qwantlen. Currently, we're working on a real major project called Seyem Place by the River. This is a heritage center that will be all inclusive of history from time immemorial to present day. And that's really important. When we take a look at UNDRIP, we take a look at the reconciliation, we know that it says we need to provide a voice and be an inclusive society. So this resonates with both our communities, and we feel that this major center, 38,000 square feet, which will include an Indigenous museum, a community museum, will be a warm and welcoming place for all our citizens. We've worked on various other projects with Qwantlen First Nation. We're in discussions in terms of the development of the riverfront in our community. We've brokered a deal where we've returned land to Qwantlen First Nation that is rightfully theirs, that was seized in tax grab many years ago. So I think what resonates with me is the fact that we are equal partners at the table. We have similar interests in terms of building capacity, building our community, and working together really affects positive changes for the future.
Thank you, Peter. My name's Brenda Knights, and I'm from the Qwantlen First Nation. I'd like to first start by acknowledging the traditional territories of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam First Nation. Thank you for always being gracious hosts to us. It's much appreciated. My history with Qwantlen, my great-great-great-grandfather was Grand Chief Waddle King. He met the Simon Fraser expedition. Our path forward started when colonialism was here, and my daughter represents the seventh generation since then, and we talk about it takes 7 generations for change. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the future for my daughter and the future of our kids at our nations. I was talking earlier with another gentleman, and some of the opportunities that weren't available to my generation, what we're seeing for our grandchildren and our children is really exciting. Why I mentioned my great-great-great-grandfather, he met Simon Fraser's expedition and then later the Macmillan expedition, which set up the Hudson's Bay Company at the fort in Fort Langley. Qwantlen is situated at the middle of the Fraser River and always had to work with other nations. And when the first settlers came to British Columbia, Qwantlen also worked with those settlers. It was because of Qwantlen that they survived. There's a story about my great-great-grandmother, Qwantlen, my mother carries her name. Our people, we want to just be treated equally, as equal partners at the table. My great-great-grandmother, there was one winter that was as bad as it is outside today, and the people of the Hudson's Bay Company, they thought that this poor woman was living by herself and needed to be rescued. When they went to her home, She had more supplies than all of the Hudson's Bay Company. And so the lesson there is we just want to be treated as equals at the table. And so when you're coming to our communities, think of us as equals. My cultural teachers in my community have taught me since time immemorial the Qwantlen First Nation have lived by 7 laws. That's health, so treating your mind, body, and spirit with as best as possible. Humbleness, so we come to the table with humbleness when we're working together. Happiness, it's very easy in this world to be negative. It's harder to see the positive side. So come to the table wanting to work together. Generosity, be a giving person. Be the first one at the table to make a difference. Generations as well. We need to always be thinking about our future generations and what our decisions today, how they will impact our children and their children and the next 7 generations. And then the other 2 laws are forgiveness and understanding. If we can all just understand that sometimes we're coming from different positions, but hear the other person, hear what they have to say, then we can have that forgiveness in our hearts. I think those are lessons that we've been able to apply with our relationship with the Township of Langley. There's always been a spirit of cooperation. Many of our families were some of the first settlers in British Columbia. Our First Nations women were often married into employees of the Hudson's Bay Company. And so we have had to work together and lesson a lot. And that spirit continues today. As Peter said, we have many exciting projects that we're working on. And it just takes that effort, that leadership with Mayor and Council from the Township of Langley. I have to give them credit. They've stepped up to the table and they've made that commitment to work with Qwantlen. They've assigned Peter, who I call for many things. When our community needs snow removal, he'll send the engineering department out. When our street lights are out and it's a safety issue for our kids, they come out and help us. They always answer that call. And that's the spirit of generosity that we all need to give each other. And that goes equally. We also need the call when the township needs us. We've been there for cultural events, tourism events. We've been able to enhance what's going on in Fort Langley, which is a tourism hub. So I'm very excited to be here with Peter, and I hope that some of the lessons that we've been able to apply, you can bring to your own communities. It's been very inspiring to work with Peter, and we look forward to many future years of a successful relationship. All my relations.